am your chair for the day, Dr. Suzanne Zedek. The organization that I lead, Connected Baby, is one of the founding partners of ACE Aware Scotland. More about that in a moment. We're not very good at seeking help for big, sore emotions. We're not very good at knowing how to comfort ourselves healthily. And if, as a child, you are left to struggle with big, uncomfortable emotions on your own, with no one to help, then long-term consequences result. That struggle has an impact on your biology, on your psychology, on your ability to think, on your ability to manage your behavior, on your spiritual connectedness. That's what's happened to so many people in our prisons. They had a childhood in which no one helped with their big, scary feelings. But our society and our systems have largely failed to make the link between their behavior and childhood trauma. And that's despite the science that has shown us that. Science over 2 decades, 4 decades, 8 decades. People in prison are still largely regarded as bad people rather than traumatized people. And that's a concern because we have the highest prison population rate in the UK and one of the highest in Europe. We incarcerate 135 citizens out of every 100,000 citizens. And say Northern Ireland, the rate is half that. In other regions of the UK, the rate of incarceration is going down markedly. In Scotland, our rate of decrease is minimal. So what would the prison system and the prison environment look like if we could shift this? If we could see the trauma that lives in the corridors of every prison in our country, what would it look like? That's what we have gathered today to ask. There are an impressive array of sectors represented in this audience. Let me name some of them. Criminal justice, police, lawyers, family support, youth engagement, football clubs, health visitors, obstetricians, secondary schools, primary schools, early years, universities. Musicians, the private sector, the construction industry, the insurance industry, faith groups, government representatives. Please forgive me if I haven't named your sector, because what I'm really trying to do is to highlight how unusual today is. You just heard me give that list of all the sectors represented for a conference on prisons? This interweaving is what I think an ACE-aware nation looks like. We come together from wherever we start to solve our joint challenges. This is the third major national grassroots gathering that ACE-aware Scotland has hosted since we set out to create our first one in 2018. ACE-aware Scotland is a coalition of partners who seek to bring awareness of adverse childhood experiences, ACEs, to the wider public. Folks, there are only 5 million of us in Scotland. We can do that. In 2018, our invited speaker was Dr. Nadine Burke-Harris, who came to help us better understand what ACEs were and how common they are. 2,500 people came. 2019, our invited international speaker was Dr. Gabor Mate. He came to help us think about how we tackle addiction. 2,000 people came. In 2020 and 2021, we held an online series of conversations about a whole broad range of topics in ACEs. Poverty, human rights, leadership, language. Hundreds of people tuned in. And now it's 2022. And our invited international speaker is Fritzi Horstman. And her team from the Compassion Prison Project. They've come to help us to think about how our prison system can be transformed. Compassion and healing deserve to sit at the core of that system, not shame and condemnation. If that sounds like a radical, controversial vision, and it is for some, there are some people who do not agree with what we vision today. If that's radical, well, that's why we invited her. She believes that that transformation is possible, and she and her team can help us to think about how we could achieve that. More than 400 of you have come today to join her and all of us in that conversation. Over the past week, Fritzi and her team have been working with staff and residents in 3 prisons in Scotland. That's Addywell in West Lothian, Barlinnie in Glasgow, and Saughton in Edinburgh. And in each of those, residents and staff have had an opportunity to spend 2 days in a program that facilitates a sense of community and strengthens vulnerability. There is a strength in vulnerability, but not everybody knows that. So lots of people in 3 prisons have had a chance to experience what that is like, perhaps for the first time in their lives. Some of those participants are with us here today. Welcome. We're going to hear about that work today. It will become clear why I'm standing in front of you with a t-shirt that says "No Shame." Please laugh, I've never worn a t-shirt to a conference before. But these are the t-shirts that we wore in Edinburgh Prison, where I spent my last 2 days working with women who engaged in this program. And from those 2 days, I carried away not only this t-shirt, but a memory of one of the women saying, "It's pure possible." Really, it is. That's what these 2 days have taught me. Change is possible. And that visit was possible only because of a set of determined, enthusiastic partners: Cisco, trauma lawyers, prison governors, prison staff, and Tigers, another of the founding members of ACE Aware Scotland. We're going to hear from many of those organizations today, and we're going to share with those voices a sense and a picture of why the vision is pure possible. Before the day is out, Fritzi is going to take us through the experience that she has been particularly well known for, the Compassion Circle, and you will have a chance, if you wish to participate, to experience what the residents in our prisons have experienced over the last week. The shared experience in that is a reminder of the forgotten truth that one of our speakers today often says aloud. James Doherty reminds us that we belong to one another. Another bit of housekeeping. The things that we're going to explore today are deep and they're tough. If at any point you need to step out, please do that. Please take care of yourself. There are quiet spaces available, and there's a whole team of people here to assist, including Tigers Mental Health First Aiders and Tigers Wellbeing Coordinator. Please do not suffer, and especially do not suffer alone. We are here in community, and there's help and space wherever you would like. And finally, if you are on Twitter today, it's one way to reach the rest of the country. Please use the hashtag #CompassionatePrisons. So, welcome to a courageous, visionary day. We are so glad you have chosen